Okay, grab a seat, everyone. Let's get right into it. Welcome to this explainer on the absolute future of our field. As biology students stepping into the world of research, you're coming in at the exact moment the rules of the game are fundamentally changing. We're looking at a future where scientific timelines are quite literally being rewritten. We're talking about processes that used to take centuries of grueling manual human effort getting stripped down to mere days. So today, we're going to explore how AI is completely transforming discovery in the lab and shifting us from this era of manual observation to a totally new world of automated, accelerated breakthroughs.
Okay, let's dive into this masterclass. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll cover the paradigm shift in discovery, look at complex systems in physics, see how we're rewriting chemistry and neuroscience, detail the drug discovery revolution, talk about solving protein folding, and finally, wrap up with what this means for your future in research.
All right, part one, the paradigm shift in discovery, moving beyond human hypotheses.
To really understand where we're going, we first have to talk about our own blind spots. Look, human researchers are undeniably brilliant, right? But we explore the space of scientific possibility within boundaries we don't even realize exist. We're naturally constrained by our training, our inherited frameworks, and frankly, our own cognitive biases. We only test what we can actually conceive. Just compare our traditional research methods with AI discovery. In the old model, everything was hypothesis-driven. We'd literally stare at data manually for decades. Think about early warning signals for wildfires. Human researchers stared at datasets of weather, moisture, and topography for years and just couldn't see the threads. AI, though, it's pattern-driven. It is entirely unbound by our cognitive bias. It can rapidly correlate these weak, hidden signals scattered across completely different domains. It wanders into regions we systematically ignore, entirely free of our preconceptions.
And this leads to something absolutely meta-important. AI isn't just answering the questions we ask, it's finding questions we didn't even know to ask. We've actually built a tool that expands the boundaries of human curiosity itself. Across every single field right now, AI is suggesting experiments and research directions that simply weren't on anyone's radar. And not because they were rejected by human scientists, but because they were never even conceived in the first place.
Which brings us to part two, complex systems and physics, the universal power of pattern recognition. Before we zoom into the microscopic biological world you'll be working in, it's really vital to see how this spans across broader macro-level systems. Look at climate science. Our traditional models reflect human understanding and programmed assumptions. AI finds nonlinear, hidden relationships outside that understanding, giving us massive jumps in hurricane and drought forecasting accuracy. In space exploration, instead of just pointing bigger and bigger telescopes at the sky, AI combed through old Kepler data, basically gathering digital dust, and found hidden exoplanets we completely missed. In archaeology, instead of walking over sites for centuries, AI spots faint terrain anomalies in satellite imagery, uncovering hidden Mayan complexes and Roman roads. And in physics, it's finding anomalies in real-world data rather than just relying on our theoretical predictions. So the crucial point here is that we've essentially built an anomaly detector for reality itself. If you know the history of physics, you know that breakthroughs historically come from noticing when reality just doesn't match our expectations. Blackbody radiation gave us quantum mechanics. Mercury's orbit gave us general relativity. Anomalies are literally the cracks where new science leaks through. And the process that once required pure serendipity? Well, it's now being systematized.
All right, Section 3, Rewriting Chemistry and Neuroscience, zooming in on the microscopic world.
Now we're getting into your territory. This is where AI starts throwing out the textbook in your specific fields of study. We are unlocking entirely new pathways. In chemistry, AI isn't just doing the math faster. It's predicting perfectly viable reactions that do not exist in any scientific literature. It's proposing totally novel synthesis pathways for advanced materials. And over in neuroscience, AI analyzing brain scans completely threw out the hypothesis playbook. It clustered neural activity to find connectivity structures nobody had ever hypothesized. We are talking about redefining how we map cognition and mental health disorders, working with the actual wiring diagram instead of our best guesses. Essentially, we handed the periodic table to a machine, and it found combinations that human chemists walked right past.
100 years. That is how many years of overlooked chemical combinations we are talking about here. Molecules combining in ways that simply weren't in anyone's mental playbook for a century. The staggering scale of what human intuition missed over the last 100 years is, well, it's a bit humbling, honestly. But man, is it incredibly exciting for the tools you all now have at your disposal.
Section 4, the drug discovery revolution.
leaving behind the brutal traditional model.
For those of you heading into pharmacology and medical research, the labs you're about to enter look vastly different from the ones I started in. Let's trace how drug discovery has evolved. Step 1, the traditional model. This was a brutal, conservative process of slow, incremental modification of known molecules. Step 2 was the bottleneck, a decade of development and billions of dollars for each successful drug, with most candidates just failing outright at the end. But now, look at Step 3. AI generation is designing novel molecules from scratch in a matter of months. It's exploring chemical space entirely free of human preconceptions about what should work therapeutically.
And this brilliantly illustrates the real revolution. AI is proposing molecules no medicinal chemist would have ever sketched out on a whiteboard. It actually violates pharmaceutical intuition. Entire therapeutic approaches that existed totally outside our conceptual boundaries are now sitting in the medicine cabinet of the future. AI is finding drugs that human researchers simply wouldn't have found at all, period.
Which brings us to Section 5, Solving Protein Folding. The grand challenge resolved.
This is it, the absolute climax of the biological revolution we are experiencing right now. The 50-year biology problem essentially solved before lunch. Let's walk through this timeline together. The grand challenge began in the 1970s. Proteins twist into these highly specific 3D shapes that determine everything they do, and predicting those shapes from generic sequences seemed impossibly complex. For decades, highly dedicated scientists made incredibly slow, manual progress. The consensus was we'd crack it maybe decades from now. Then, almost overnight, DeepMind's AlphaFold solved it in one shot with near-experimental accuracy. Today, the open publishing of these structures is radically accelerating drug design and handing us entirely new building blocks for synthetic biology.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the sheer scale of the achievement. 200 million. That's essentially every known protein structure, predicted and published openly. A whole generation of scientists watched their life's work become obsolete overnight. But hey, it's not a tragedy. Their hard manual work is what validated the system. And now, those 200 million structures serve as the foundational tools you will use to ask questions they couldn't even dream of. This was a paradigm shift that arrived decades ahead of schedule.
Finally, Section 6, Your Future in Research, Embracing the Automated Discovery Era.
So the landscape you're entering is radically altered. You are stepping into an era where discovery is this tight partnership between human curiosity and algorithmic power. I really want you to internalize this idea. It's not replacing scientists, it's showing them where to look next. Yes, the game has fundamentally shifted from manual observation to automated discovery. The heavy lifting of pattern recognition and anomaly detection is being systematized for us. But your human curiosity, that's still the vital driver. The AI proposes, but the scientist verifies, understands, and directs. You are the ones who will wield these incredible new tools.
So I want to leave you with this provocative thought as you gear up to enter the lab. We are no longer bottlenecked by our capacity to calculate or manually observe. We've built an engine that wanders into the unknown and actively expands what humans can know. The machine has the answers. So my question to you, the absolute next generation of biologists, is this. What questions are you going to ask?